Hi, guys. I'm Shayla, the founder of Chakra Kingdom. And today I'm here with my good friend Tanya Memme. And you're like kind of a big deal, like
You're so sweet.
host of Sell This House on A&E,
Mm.
Smart Home Nation, Home and Family. Oh my gosh.
But today the tables are turned because today I'm going to be interviewing you.
I know. I'm so
I am
excited.
too. Because I knew you way before you started Chakra Kingdom.
I know. I know.
Yeah,
14 years.
14 years.
That's
And
crazy.
I remember that you were into energies and healing since the day I've met you.
Yeah.
So, and then what I want to, and I don't really know the details, so now I get to ask her today. So I want to start off with asking you. I remember the day when you went to Mount Shasta, which wasn't that long ago,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a couple years ago or
Three,
something.
three,
Three
four.
years,
Yeah. Three and a
4 years,
half.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember you said I got back from Mount Shasta and you had this whole whiteboard of like a whole business craziness thing, full on download. So I want to know every detail about that Mount Shasta trip, which she has never opened up to me about.
Okay. Ooh, I love this. This
Right.
is fun. I know. So, wow, what a journey it's been. I was in a time in my life, and you've seen me go through like crazy moments
Yeah,
in
we
my
all do.
life.
It's
We all
okay. Yeah.
do. And being through the entertainment business and music world. And then I kind of moved into fitness. And within the fitness realm, I was like, oh, I love transformation. I love helping people, but it was very like surface level and very about the body. And I noticed a lot of kind of people that were not all there in regards to just living of integrity and a good lifestyle. And I was like, there's got to be
There's
more
got to
to
be more.
this,
Yeah.
and I was always fascinated with spirituality and
Mhm.
very in tune. So I was like, I just need to take a break and go, because I'm being very called to Mount Shasta, which Mount Shasta is very spiritual. There's a lot of energy there, and it's like a vortex point, is what people talk
And I
about.
remember you went by yourself.
I did.
I mean, I was like, "You're what? You're doing where? What?" You
And
were just called to
camped.
go.
Yeah.
What do you mean you were called to go, though? Let's just go
Okay.
back to that.
Called to go as in like intuitively, I was feeling drawn to it. Like I have angel oracle decks that
I
I
was gonna
love
say,
to
didn't you see it in a
use.
card or
Yeah,
something?
yeah.
Yes, I
Yeah.
remember this. Okay, yeah,
And I
so
love using tools, like
yeah.
fun tools to kind of help connect you deeper. And I'll ebb and flow through different tools and meditations or whatnot, yoga. But I had picked this card and it was talking about Mount Shasta. And then somewhere else, Mount Shasta popped up. I'm like, this is a sign. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go. So I went and I went camping by myself. I went and hiked in the middle of this
I don't know if
forest.
I could have done that, so I just think it's amazing. You're like, "I'm being called, I have to do this." You just literally followed whatever
Totally.
the nudges were where they were taking you.
Yeah, and that's how I've lived my life, and that's why it's like I live such an unconventional life because I'm very much directed by my intuition, and I'm always following my heart, which a lot of people can be like, "That's absolutely insane." But it's worked for me, and I live a happy life, and I love what I'm creating and what I'm doing to help people. So I saw a bear on my hike, and I was like, "This is crazy." Okay, and then I'm like, "Spiritual energy of a bear. What does that mean?"
What does it mean? That's what I wanna
It's
know.
actually like shaman energy for a bear, which was very, it tracked for me being there and what I was doing and the downloads that I got. So when I say downloads, essentially, like, I think that we can, when we're tapped into our spirituality and our intuition, we can get messaging that isn't from your mind. Like we get almost these like big ideas or something dropped into your head or your heart, and you're like, oh, I'm going to act on that, or you don't
That's true.
you know?
Mhm.
And so I was channeling, and I guess channeling meaning when you raise your consciousness or you lower your brain states and you get into a meditative state, you can really stop the monkey mind and receive those downloads because our energy bodies are a channel. We are all energy. Our body is made up of 60 to whatever percent water. So we're shifting and changing our DNA at all times. And each 7 years, we're kind of going through these phases where everything's upgraded and our identities shift and all of that.
So, but when you say you were channeling? What do you mean? Like you were sitting there on a rock in a tent,
I was in
like
my tent and I
at
had
night?
yeah, I kind of went through phases where sometimes was at night, but a lot of times during the day.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was in meditation and just kind of sitting and in complete stillness and like quiet and calm and peace. And then all of a sudden, like I just start writing down how I'm gonna do Chakra Kingdom, how it's gonna work, how the program's gonna happen. And I mean, that stuff doesn't just automatically come to your mind. I truly believe like we are connected to a higher God source,
Hmm.
our intuition, whatever you want to call it, whatever you believe in. And that's kind of how it all happened. And then I got back and I started the yoga series, and the yoga series was focused with the chakra framework. And chakras are 7 energy centers in our body that actually make up the mind, body, soul. And I think a lot of things in life, they have the mental aspect or they have the fitness, but they don't have like the spiritual side that ties it all in.
Right. Yeah. Well, I remember when you got back actually, and you had like this notebook,
Yeah.
and she had like highlighters and different colors and different font sizes. It was all handwritten. And
Yeah.
it was like this thick, thick notebook filled and filled and filled and filled with pages of doodling and notes and everything.
Like a mad
Yeah,
scientist.
but it was amazing. And then all of a sudden you just created this whole online. You started with
Yoga
the yoga
series.
series,
Yeah.
but then it quickly turned into an online program as
Series.
well.
Yeah. Yeah, it was wild because it was about a year and a bit of getting the yoga going and being consistent in the classes, and the framework was around the chakras, and we have yelling affirmations and cool playlists and like the light set to chakras. So it was like everyone was really loving it, but also experiencing really crazy results. I had people telling me they were going through a breakup and they felt like the class healed them. One guy stopped smoking weed, another person was stopping alcohol. So I was like, wow, this is like working.
And somebody else bought like the house of her dreams,
Yes, yeah,
right?
yeah,
And then
totally.
she got the dog of her dreams or
Yes, well,
something.
that was through the Transform series,
Okay,
but
but
there was
yeah,
yeah,
but
all the things of miracles
yeah.
happening when you do this kind of work. So close like, after that, I was like, "Let me try doing a 90-day program with the framework of what I'm doing in the yoga, but add in more psychological tools along with meditations and some other tools." So that's when the 90-day Transform series was born, and I started doing group series and meeting with groups kind of one-on-one with the group in person to start. And I wanted to scale it and really like get this out to the world more, and then that's when it kind of became more the online process. And I've had a lot of one-on-one clients too doing specific work with me, but it's just been this wild journey.
Right. Yes, I've been a very big part of that. Okay,
Yes.
so you went to Mount Shasta and then you had these downloads and you then started with the yoga series first,
Yeah.
right? So was it something within the yoga series that sort of ended up being the catalyst towards building the online, or was the online also downloaded
Well, it's
during
funny because the online wasn't down. I mean, I knew I would go in different directions with it, but it was just kind of like a process of trial and error and following the energy and the frequency. And that's why it's been a long journey so far, because I don't do things the way normal people do in business or like how you should, quote unquote, do it, because I'm really following a frequency, because Chakra Kingdom has become its own kind of frequency, and
Mhm.
people experience their transformation through the container that's set up for it, and then along with all the tools in it. But I had this one client who at the time she was taking Adderall, and I had a hard
Yes.
spot in me because I had an ex-boyfriend who was very addicted to alcohol and Adderall, and I went through a lot of trauma myself because of it. So when she said that, I was like, "Do you trust me?" And she was like, "Yeah." And we were working on fitness at the time, and I'm like, "Okay, let's just try do this program with me and let's see." So she did the program and ended up repeating it a few times with me. And we worked together for almost a year, and she just transformed getting through a divorce, and then she met her person, and then she got her dream lake home and then a
I
dog
I
and
know. So I was there during this whole
yeah.
time with that client, and
Yeah,
that was really amazing to see and
it
beautiful to
was.
watch.
It was. It was really special. And then I was like, okay, if I can do this for one person, why don't I try it in the groups? And that's when the group thing started to happen. And it was really cool because in the groups, you can kind of see everyone's going through similar things, but in their own ways. But
Mhm.
you learn through everything with everyone. And it was even more powerful. So that's why now I've kind of moved into doing the group series online.
And that's the 90-day series.
90-day transform
90-day
series.
transform series. That's
Yeah.
the one I took.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
So the one thing I love about her transform series, one I took, is that you can do it by yourself or you can do it with an entire group of people.
Yeah.
So I did it with like most of my well, I had a group of like 4 or 5 of my
Yeah,
girlfriends,
yeah.
and we all did it together. We met every Thursday night, and it was really, it brought us all really close together.
It did, it did, and it was
Yeah,
really cool to see how everyone kind of had their own experience in their own way
yeah.
and their own shifts, but it was just powerful again, and I loved it.
Yeah, it was really something else, and it's so beautiful to learn to go through the chakras. Like, what exactly, I know, but what exactly, if you can explain it, what
Yeah.
do you teach in the 90-day series, Transform series?
Yeah, so basically, it's set up structurally to facilitate someone's change because when we're going through change, the mind and ego hate change and we like hang on to what's familiar. So when we're going through expansion, there's like that contraction phase too, where people want to retreat, they want to go back to old habits and patterns, they question, is this all bullshit? Like, and so there's a specific structure and container to how I have it set. So the first week, we're really just decluttering. It's a decluttering phase because if too much is thrown at us, our nervous systems will go through the roof, and too much change at once will actually make you go backwards. So I just really set it up to a slow ease. And then after that declutter week, we kind of go into learning about masculine and feminine energy and how your parents operate in that and how it was passed down to you.
So, like, whether you want to face it or not, you do.
Yeah, yeah, you kind of
But
have
it's in a
to.
very supporting, loving atmosphere. So, and we're all in
Totally.
it together.
Yes,
So,
yes, and
yeah,
that's the fun part of
yeah.
it because it can be jolting sometimes to kind of bring awareness to these
Hmm.
parts of ourselves, and that's why it's cool because it's really open for anyone going through anything, and I've had a lot of high-level people go through it, and I made it for people that don't have a lot of time too, like, you can commit 20 minutes a day and show up to one call, do your meditations, and you're good, and you'll go through it, but then by week 3, we're in Know Thyself, and Know Thyself is understanding the inner child, wounded and healed, and the adult self, wounded and healed. Because we're always operating based on our trauma or our
Hmm.
powerful self. So when you start to align with more of your powerful self, your heart led self, you start making different decisions. But you have to be aware of how you operate when you're in that competitive, lower vibrational, egoic
And
mode
why? Like,
and
and
why
why?
and what's
Yeah.
fueling it. And that is kind of another thing going through the entertainment business for me, looking at myself and all the healing work I did and we've done
Oh, lots.
a lot. And it's been such a journey, but I had to really ask myself, why am I performing? Why am I doing
Hmm.
music? Why am I? And it really shook me for a while because I did realize there was a side of me that was seeking that parental validation or whatever it was for a while. And I had to make massive shifts. So this process again just brings like wild awareness to your life and to how you operate. So by week 4, we go into the chakras. So at that point, you kind of have a flow. You kind of know like how the program works, what you're doing, what you gravitate towards. And I've given tools that have frequencies or meditations or different module work that allows you to kind of resonate and follow with whatever you feel like that week. Because if we're forced to change and we're forced to transform, we're actually like putting intermittent dissonance
Hmm.
in the frequency of the transformation. So by root chakra, it's all about stability, safety, and feeling grounded in your body.
Yeah, that's where she kicked my butt. Seriously, I remember that. That was a hard
Yeah.
week for me.
Yeah, and it can be tough and we can realize like, "Whoa, I didn't ever feel stable in this area of my life, so now
Hmm.
I'm overcompensating in my business or this or that." And then we move to sacral chakra, which is all about your relationships and your desires and your divinity. And a lot of people again are not really aware of what they truly want and are looking for in a relationship, but they'll project things on their partner and not actually know how to articulate what they need.
Right.
And it's really interesting how that affects us. And then we move to solar plexus, which is your power center, your self-worth, your confidence. And sometimes people discover that they're operating in wounded solar plexus energy, which can actually be manipulative energy and control disguised as confidence and power. And then we move to heart chakra, which
That's
is
interesting.
I know, I know.
Wow.
So a lot of entrepreneurs, high level people come in and they don't realize like
Yeah.
their power is coming from a wounded place and it shifts how they operate.
That would be like a very difficult boss. So people have a lot of power but are not well liked,
Yeah.
kind of thing,
Yeah.
right? We've all had to
Absolutely.
deal with somebody like that,
Yeah.
which I was actually going through that when I was doing your Transform series.
Right.
I was dealing with, having to deal with personalities that I was really conflicted about, and it really
Totally.
helped me with that.
Oh, wow, that's
I mean, it helped
interesting.
on many levels. I mean, you do
Yes.
go deep,
Yeah.
but the one thing I like, and I want you to go on about,
Yes,
the
of
heart too,
course.
but it's interesting because you might be thinking to yourself, if you're listening to Shayla right now, like, oh my God, I have to get really vulnerable. I'm
Yeah.
really nervous. Like, I don't know if I want to do this. But the way that you have it laid out and the way
Mhm.
that you have it so that it's a very safe environment and it's
Yeah.
very confidential,
Yeah.
and it's like you're not the only one in the world that
Mhm.
is going through all of this, right?
Yeah.
And so when you because you create the container,
Mhm.
and her container is so safe and really beautiful, and I really loved it, and I grew a lot in it too. So yeah, so
Oh,
just
that
don't
makes
worry
me
about that
happy.
part because
I
you
love that you said that.
yeah, no, it's
It's
true. I
true.
mean, I experienced it, so
Yeah.
yeah,
And
it's
I think
great.
that's what allows for the transformation, because it's hard to do it when
Yes.
you're on your own. You can do it on your own, but to have someone to reflect back the higher parts of yourself, because again, when you understand heart and ego, there's a higher version of you that would respond or operate a little different than the egoic version of you that takes things personally and is trying to defend thyself.
Yes.
So it's very wild to watch and see things happen. But then heart chakra is all about love and abundance. And it's funny because we can go into that week and people are like, oh, yay, heart chakra, love.
Right, I was one of those.
And then people like go through the
Oh,
work and they're like, wow, my heart has been blocked. And like I've actually been pushing love away or not open to things. And so it can be a wild ride. And then we move to throat chakra, which is all about your uniqueness and your truth and really speaking your truth. And that too is powerful and connected to our sacral chakra, which is our divinity, power, and relationships. So then after that, we move to our third eye chakra, which is all about your intuition. And there are four clairs: claircognizance, clairaudience, clairvoyance, and clairsentience. So
mm.
hear, see, feel, and know. And we
So
all have
do you
them.
mean we each have all of those
We
within
all have
us?
all of them
Like
within
they're like almost like
us.
spiritual gifts,
Yes, totally.
but some have one might stand out more than another.
Totally. Yeah. It's like practicing riding a bike. If you
Right.
don't practice, you're a little wobbly. So if you don't really know what your gifts are, you can kind of tell, like, oh, I kind of always have an inner knowing sometimes. And it's weird. I don't know how to explain it. But when you practice on that inner knowing, you can fine tune the skills and really get good at your sixth sense and embrace yourself and your gifts and how to utilize them in our world today.
And then do you cover that in the Transform series?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
people have uncovered their gifts and can really
Yes.
kind of hone those gifts in.
Yes.
Okay,
Correct.
she's changed it a little since when because I was like, I think your second group ever.
Yeah, no,
So
we've
I'm
gotten a
learning.
massive 3.0 version now, and the
Okay,
modules are
great.
way longer in a good way. And
Yeah.
again, people can kind of go through what they need to, but it's pretty amazing. And then we finish with crown chakra, which is all about collective consciousness and tuning into the oneness within everything and just a transcended bird's eye view perspective on life. And then from there, we go into a vision boarding, manifesting kind of ceremony and calling things in that we're ready for because we've done all this work. And then the final week, we just kind of reflect on everything and close out the container.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that. So, okay, what I want to learn next is you talk a lot about the subconscious mind and
Mhm.
going into your childhood experiences. What chapter, I guess, what chakra is that? Or is that even that? Or is that
Yeah,
just something you talk about?
well, actually, the whole process really kind of actually does make you reflect on childhood and on your upbringing because we don't realize that our subconscious is running 95% of the decisions we make on the daily. That is insane, the amount that we are being run by
Unconscious mind.
unconscious mind,
Yeah, we just do it without
subconscious,
even thinking.
autopilot.
Right.
And so when we realize as an energy body and a channel, because we are energy, we're sponges, we're constantly picking up on programming essentially. So it's like I kind of look at the human body a little bit like a computer program.
Hmm.
So as you're going through life, you're living through experiences, and whether it's to you traumatic or not, it might something might happen and it would not affect someone else, but to you it was really traumatic. So that
Yeah.
is stored in your body, in your energy, and in your subconscious. And we don't realize that that can actually be running our daily
Our
decisions,
entire
our
life.
entire life.
From like how we drive to how we eat to how we like even things like
Yes.
that, right?
Yes.
Woo!
Yeah.
there's a lot to
There's a
think about
lot.
in the Transform series, but that's why the miracles happen though, because you're
Yes.
taking the time for yourself. Most of us don't take the time for ourselves to
Yeah.
think about these things or
Yeah.
to sit in that spiritual self,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And to dig into those times or have the framework to understand those
Mhm.
times and the safety because it is uncomfortable. And when you feel like it could be too much, I'm there to help walk you guys through that
Yeah.
or and then just everyone's learning from everyone so it feels a little easier. But it's really cool because by that time you kind of understand what happened in childhood or with your parents that makes you think a certain way about yourself or act out or react a certain way
Mhm.
and then you can make the shift and change.
So you often talk about the mind, body, soul alignment.
Yeah.
So let's talk. How do you know when your mind, body, and soul is aligned?
Okay, so I feel like again this transform series is set up for the alignment of that because what we do is we have the sound element and the sound element is really restructuring the subconscious mind.
Okay.
And that is when you're sleeping, we're restructuring, we're listening to these beats during the day whenever you can. And then we're also working on our meditative state, which is more the soul. And we're just bringing through that divine channel. And then you're doing the work by just showing up and you're in your coaching calls. And then I have movement practices as well and yoga involved if you want to do the yoga side. So within it all, we're really actively taking action steps with the mind, body, and soul in the container. And
Hmm.
when you find that alignment with it all, you really start to see the shifts. And it's usually by week like 4 and 5 that people's energy and how they're showing up is just different. It's
I
just
guess it
different.
changes throughout the
It
entire.
does. And
Wow.
a lot of time people come in and they have something they want to shift or change or an energy they're dealing with that's lower vibrational and they
Yeah.
just feel stuck or they're pivoting or they're already in a transition and just really not sure how to move forward and then yeah by the end of it it's just incredible to see their results. I love it.
Also, I hear you talking sometimes because I watch all of your social
I
media.
love you.
The well, we're also
Close
we're like
friends
very close
like
friends. Yes,
besties.
that's why it's like so fun to interview you.
I love this.
But I also hear you talk about the human body as an energy channel.
Hmm.
Like, what does that mean?
Yeah. So, as an energy channel, essentially, whatever we're filling our mind, body, and soul with, and that goes from the content we're watching, from the music we're listening to, from the food we're eating, from the people we take advice from the family members we let project on us.
Hmm.
All of it actually does affect us. So, the more you can find a focused, energetic, and precision around what you allow into your energy body because again we are vibrating on extremely high frequency levels and our energy bodies are always shifting and changing. So the
Hmm.
more you can be diligent about what it is you consume on all levels, the more you're going to kind of reach those higher levels and find a rhythm that works for you and just really experience a frequency that most people don't get to experience.
I love it. Because we do really live in a very stressful world,
We
especially
do.
living in a big city like Los
I know. I
Angeles.
know.
So, regulating the nervous system, I know, is really, really important.
Yeah.
So, this also helps regulate the nervous system. And how
Totally.
do you help your clients do that?
Yeah. So through this whole process, a lot of the people come out of it saying they feel more regulated. They're
Mm,
making better
that is
decisions.
huge.
They're making more aligned decisions. Teresa just actually got out of a 13-year
Oh,
relationship that she was stuck
whoa.
in
Oh
and
my
couldn't get out of.
gosh.
We closed the container, and a week later, her boyfriend had moved, ex-boyfriend had moved
Moved
out,
out.
and she actually, after not talking to her family for 5 years, rekindled the relationships with her parents during the series. So it's
Wow.
yeah, it's just stuff like that where it's like you can't really ever understand what will happen. You can come in with an intention, but
Yeah.
sometimes things just take a turn and you don't even realize how the healing works in its own
So
way.
it's also, I am getting that, like, if you're going through something really big in life, or there's a
Yeah.
decision that you need to make, but you're too afraid to make it,
Yep.
or you feel stuck, or you feel like I need to, there's something I'm not getting.
Yep.
If you're feeling any of that, the Transform series is pretty perfect for that.
Yeah, absolutely. People really do come in when they're going through big life shifts. I've
Yeah.
had a lot of people come in when they're going through divorce or lost a family member or a friend or going through career transitions or trying to expand or just wanting a shift in life or feeling stuck or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
Let's talk about patterns and habits that I know I hear you talking about on your social media. The patterns and the
Yeah.
habits,
Yeah,
right?
totally. I love that. It's just because every day we're operating either consciously or unconsciously,
Hmm.
and our habits and patterns are shifting every day depending upon what we say yes to or no to. So the
Hmm.
more you have that power within and to know thyself, and you're not swayed or outsourcing your power and asking everything and one or needing validation outside yourself, the more you can make the most attuned, aligned decision for you, and you can start making healthier, better
Yeah,
decisions and choices, because everything we do today is paving our path for tomorrow.
that's true.
Yeah.
We are creating our path for tomorrow depending on what we're doing exactly right now.
Yeah.
Right.
And the
So
thoughts
it's
we're
very
thinking
powerful.
too.
Yeah.
So it's like very important that you do have the support when you're going through pivots or transformation or whatever it might be, because it's so easy. And I just posted a video about this, to where we can feel the expansion, we can feel the shifts and changes, and then the ego will come in and be like, "Oh, I'm feeling good. I got this. Like, I don't need this work anymore. I'm good." And then they go back to their lifestyle and the people that were around them before, and they can't really fully integrate and embody, meaning integrate the lessons, start acting out and thinking on those levels of the lessons, and they go back into old patterns and habits and just start going back into the old identity.
Okay, I have a question for you, which
Yeah.
is what I've been dealing with recently.
Yeah.
So, what is the difference between intuition in a negative way, like when you're being told to not go in that direction,
Yeah.
versus fear?
Okay. So intuition is like dropped in. It's like you just know, it just happens, it's quick. Fear, there's thinking involved.
Oh, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. You're
Like you're
literally thinking, you're questioning. That's fear.
okay.
The minute that it's just in you, the answer is
You're
there.
just like no
Yeah.
or yes
Or yeah,
or whatever,
it's
but
a
it's
yes or a
very
no, but it's very clear. And if you
oh
are there
interesting.
sitting there like, is it a yes or is it a no? Or you're already in your head and
And
you're
then
you're
it's like
missing it. And
okay,
go meditate, go take a
go
second,
move
get
around,
out of
go
your
do something.
head, and
Okay,
then allow it to kind of come back through more of regulated nervous system, and then ask yourself again.
okay. I'm gonna have fun with some questions with you. Okay.
Okay, I love
Do
this.
you believe in a glitch in the matrix?
Yes, I do.
Have you ever had a glitch in the matrix?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me. I want to know it all.
I think that when we say glitch in the matrix, again, everything's energy. So our auric field extends outside of us. Everything is
They
of
say like 6 or 7 feet or
feet.
11 feet or something like
Yeah, I
that.
think 7, but
I
there's
think seven.
there's
Different people
different
have different.
thing, but
Yes.
I'm pretty sure 7. And so essentially when here we're gonna go deep here because
I
I'm
want to go
like
deep. I want to know.
timeline jumping kind of, I think, also can relate to the glitch in the matrix kind of thing,
Yeah.
to where I believe in that we have angels with us and we have higher source that are all kind of guiding our paths, whether we're in tune with that or not. And with the glitch in the matrix thing, it's like you can lose your keys or something, right? And then all of a sudden it stopped you from being able to leave at that time, and now you're late or this or that or whatever, and then all of a sudden the same place that you looked and you know it was not there, it's like there.
Right.
Right. And there's like no explanation.
I mean,
And
how many of you have experienced something like that? I think we all have.
right, but then all of a sudden you find the key and you go to your thing, and then you find out that you dodged an accident on the highway or
Right.
whatever it was. So I really believe that things are always happening for us, not to us, and the more you can kind of come from that state of mind, the more you really can start to flow with what is for you and stop forcing what you think you're supposed to be doing.
Okay, so I read recently, and I'm just going to see how you feel about this.
Yeah.
I read recently that if you take a cup of water and you pray upon it,
Hmm.
or you wish beautiful things
Hmm.
upon the water before you
Yes.
drink it, you actually start to change the energetic I don't want to say
Molecular
DNA, molecular
structure.
structure in
Hmm.
your body. Do you
Yes,
believe that?
absolutely.
See?
100%. And if you actually watch the Dr. Emoto study,
Yes.
yes, yeah.
The
So,
snowflakes.
yes, exactly. So they had a study where there's a couple different ones, but water, and they were freezing it, and people were putting positive affirmations on one and negative on the other. And basically, it came out all dark and gross on the one with negative and really crystally and beautiful with the positive. And again, that just goes to show you that we are made up of 60% or more water. And so, whatever we are intentionally saying, thinking, and feeling, it starts to come through us and into our outer world, which is
It
why
makes sense.
everything comes from within. And that's why our world is so backwards, because everyone is outsourcing. They think they have to go out here to feel good in here, but you have to feel good in here for everything else out here to happen.
Yes. Okay. Do you believe that some of, okay, and I'm not naming any companies or anything,
Okay.
but like some of those, those health drinks or whatever that have really evil packaging,
Yeah.
like would you ever drink that?
No, no. I
I'm
I
just
really,
saying.
yeah,
I don't either.
I am
I'm
not.
afraid to drink it.
No, all the Red Bulls, even the Celsius, even like
Well, Red
the
Bull doesn't have like
there's like
evil
liquid death,
packaging, but yeah,
liquid
the
that
liquid death.
that's
We're not
water.
trying to name names, but we
But
are.
that even has a frequency. The word death has
Yeah.
a frequency. So
Yeah.
that death word is literally on that can of water, can to aluminum. But just like all the you could, there's so much you can think about. And I'm very much a person of like, pick your poison at the end of the day. Like,
Yeah.
be conscious, make good choices. We're in this 3D world that we're living in, and you have to just be discerning and make sure you're actually aware of it. But yes, no, I would not be
Right.
into to those
I agree
things.
with you. I'm the same way. I just
Yeah.
wanted to see if I already
Yeah.
knew the answer. I just love asking
I
these
love it.
questions. Um, do you believe that there is a whole world out there that the amount of brain that we use as humans right now, we can't
Mhm.
really see it, but it's there.
Oh, 100%.
Like, what do you think
The
is
movie
there?
The Matrix is
Okay.
that it like that is so true. That is the Matrix. Like, that is what we are living
So
in.
it's all there. We just don't see it because we're not using enough of our brain.
Right. And it's just because we can't see it doesn't mean something's not real. And that's the twisted backwards world that we're again living in. But I think right now we're in these insane times when it comes to AI and all the knowledge that's coming out and all the truth that's coming out. I mean, I'm a
Hmm.
truth teller, and that's why like I just really think it's important to always be real, authentic, vulnerable, because at the end of the day, if you operate from that intention, you can never go wrong because you can sleep at night and
Yeah.
you know you came from that intention. And even with the word intention, and we'll get back to the matrix thing soon, but I wanted to bring this back because when I started really looking at the world and psychology and humans and how we operate and why, like I was looking at the government and I was looking at the fact that, like, because I'm Canadian, I'm living in US, but I was like, interesting that they are going to decline me or approve me based on the intention of why I'm getting married. So intention must be very powerful, because yeah, it creates worlds. And so I really did a lot of backwards work and thinking and research into intention
Mm.
and why some of the most high level organizations and people are able to operate on the levels they operate. And it all goes back to a lot of ancient wisdom and deep knowledge and intention and energy. And we have been very bamboozled for a long time.
Okay. So, okay. So the other question that I hear a lot about is, okay, so in the spiritual world,
Hmm.
because I'm very interested, but
Yes.
I'm also very 3D at the same time, but I'm also
Yeah.
very interested in the spiritual world. And you hear a lot about the energies and the frequencies
Hmm.
becoming more and more and more and more and more
Heightened.
because of the planet and all these, like,
Yes.
what are they
Solar
talking
flares.
about? The solar flares. Can you
Yes.
just like explain it to this,
Totally,
you know,
totally. I love these combos. They're my
I
favorite.
know, they're so interesting. I'm like, Shayla, what does this mean? What are they talking about? Is this true? Yeah,
Yeah,
so I just want
so
to hear what your thoughts are on it.
energetically, it just is it's very scientific. So it's just the fact that like the earth, Mother Earth, is like a living, breathing organism too.
Which makes
So
sense.
yeah, and it's just like we are these. If you look at ants, ants are still an entity, a living, breathing little
Mhm.
thing, and we're these giants to the ants, right? So if you think about it, to Mother Gaia and the world, we're these little ants on the world, and but we contribute energetically to the world, right? How
Yes,
we
we
operate, how we live. Have to really break it down so people can take this concept and understand it. But when the sun is hitting the earth, it is giving light into the earth, it's giving frequencies. But we have a Schumann resonance, which is basically a way to measure the light frequencies that are being hit on the earth. And now more than ever, there's actually been blackouts on the Schumann resonance, to where the frequencies are so high it actually can't even read them. So right now the light frequencies are high frequencies and stuff that we've actually never seen on the charts before.
So what does that do to us as humans living on this planet?
Right. That's the question. It actually starts giving us ascension symptoms. And when we say ascension, ascension means that we're starting to operate at higher levels of frequencies as a planet on the planet, as a society and as humans, and which in turn it is shifting our DNA. So a lot of people are
Mm.
wondering why like old things they used to love are they're not loving it anymore, or things are just changing in ways that they could never think. But it's really because your DNA is shifting, because our planet is shifting, and the sun is responsible for those high frequencies and the solar flares essentially.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so where do we go from here if that gets like higher and higher and more the frequencies become more and more and more what higher or they become more
Yeah.
something?
Well, we're protected obviously with the ozone layer and all the things that we are as humans. But there are you can feel when you're going through ascension some symptoms essentially, because like weird things will come out of nowhere. You'll start getting like weird little headaches here or there, or like you'll have trouble sleeping, or
I
you'll
mean, that's all the
just
time.
weird. Right, I feel that.
Yeah.
Or just weird little things that may not have been there before, but then all of a sudden they go away. Or I've had people explain like they went to the doctor and they found something, and then all of a sudden they went back and it's not there.
Mm.
So just stuff like that. And I think too, when we look at, and why I'm passionate about Chakra Kingdom and the work we do too, is like Western medicine and pharmaceuticals are just a band-aid to slap on in the timestamp of that time frame of whatever you're going through, to aid you and not actually heal the problem or get to the root
Mm.
of it.
Right.
And then a lot of people actually make the problem persist, and then they focus in on it and they create it even more and they make it their story, and then it becomes their lifestyle. And so if you can actually hold off, do practices to just reset your energy body, allow your body to filter out, meditation, sound, energy work, water, back to basics, natural,
Mhm.
everything that you thought you had to go to the doctor for, you won't have to. I haven't been to a Western doctor in 10 years.
You're also young and 32 and gorgeous and
But I'm so diligent about my focus and what I allow in and out.
no, that's true.
And I do wear
Yes.
frequency patches, and
Yes.
I
You take
do
care of
little
yourself.
things that are
Yeah.
just different from what the normal world would consider normal. But that's why I am who
Yeah, but
I am.
there's a lot of people that do the things that
Holistic.
you do. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's more of a holistic. One of the
Approach.
things that I because I've been, you know me, I've been deep diving into spiritual and self-improvement for years, but
Yeah.
it's the whole concept of a story,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Like so if you've never heard this before, let's just dig into this for 1 minute,
Yes.
right? Like
Yes.
what is a story and what is truth?
Right.
So like the other day, I was all freaking out because a friend of mine didn't return my text. And I'm like, oh, she's got to be upset with me because of this, this, this. And I had this whole thing.
Right.
She didn't respond to my text for like 2 weeks. So like then I was like, fine,
Right.
fine, whatever. I'm a good
Defense
friend,
mode.
whatever. Right. I had this whole story,
Yeah.
but I really thought it was for real.
Yeah.
And then she said she lost her phone and da 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 had to get a new phone and blah blah blah. And she was so apologetic. And I have to say, like, I catch myself often in these stories.
Hmm.
And so it's very clear to know when it could be a story or not be a story. So, like,
Yeah.
That's just an
staying
interesting concept for me.
yeah, oh my gosh, and it's we all do it, and that's actually
Yeah.
why it's so important to have nervous system regulation
Mhm.
and staying in your power and not projecting or creating stories, because we actually don't realize how much we self-sabotage situations, relationships based off of a perceived story or a projection that is inside you that had nothing to do with the other person.
Even though the evidence might seem pretty truthful.
Could seem it to the
Right.
mind.
Right, to the
Right?
mind,
And that's where
yes.
it's like that's why it's I'm passionate about it, because we are, and why I believe essentially we're aliens. Like I really do believe, and that's why I'm called Shade Alien,
I
because I
haven't asked her about the aliens yet, and I purposely have not been but we can go
we
there.
can go
You know
there.
I wanna
I
ask
know.
you about it, but I was like, I don't know if she wants me to ask her
It's
about all
a
that
whole
stuff.
thing. But I really believe that when you look at frequency, the word human and our perception of humans is limiting. It limits us in how we can actually be and show up. When you start transcending the concept of human and you look at the word alien, alien is essentially something that is of frequency, because it doesn't have a physical body or form or whatever. But when you look at frequency and you understand that the brain has a certain frequency, and so does the ego, the heart and the intuition have a certain frequency that's
Mhm. I mean, it's
higher.
proven, there's science behind all of
It's a
this.
higher frequency than the brain and the ego.
Ah,
So when you understand that we were gifted with both, we have both within us, but you learn how you operate with the heart versus your mind, and you start tuning into the heart, you start tapping into things that you would not tap into if you were trying to think it.
right.
Yeah, it's
See,
wild.
this is why you have to take the 90-day transform series.
Yeah.
No, because you actually really do help people to take the time to then tap into their heart and
Right.
start, because they do say the brain is in the heart, it's in the gut. It's not in the brain.
Yes.
You know what I
No.
mean? Like it's
Yep.
yeah, the knowing.
Yep,
Talk
exactly.
about the knowing for me. And we're not talking KNOW, it's GNOW.
Is it?
It is,
Oh,
isn't it?
I didn't know that.
It's
Oh.
GNOWING.
Oh,
Yeah.
crazy.
Let's look it up.
I'm
But
learning
it
too.
is.
Oh,
It's not
crazy.
KNOW. It's the GNOW, which means the knowing.
Okay, I love this.
Yes.
Oh, wow, I didn't know the spelling.
Yes. Now you're gonna look it all up.
No, no,
Okay.
it's so good because, again, when you that inner knowingness, when you are closer to your heart, you're able to feel that knowingness, um, within seconds,
And
and
it's so solid within you.
solid. And
Okay.
that's why you can actually start to operate from such an intuitive knowing that
Mhm.
you are actually bypassing making choices that would take you longer and more time to learn through the process, because you're doing it in a lower frequency from the mind, and you actually have to go through processes to learn the lesson, versus if you're in the heart space and you see your bird's eye view perspective, you don't have to go and learn the lessons and experience them. You can see them for what they are and make your decision from that point and
Yeah.
just like move quicker through reality.
I love this.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you believe in aliens?
Yes, of
Yes.
course.
So one time she showed up at my house with little antennas on, just as a joke. And it was so
I know,
cute.
I
It was
know,
like the cutest thing
I
ever.
know,
I was
and
like,
I'm
oh my
just
God, I
like
want that.
I love it because I'm like Shay Jillian. That's my artist name,
Yeah.
and I do music, and I'm an artist because I understand movement and music and the flow and the alignment between worlds. And I think again that's what Chakra Kingdom does. It's the connection between our physical world and our spiritual world. And it really teaches people how to get into and tap into that higher power within thyself. And with aliens, again, aliens are just different frequencies.
But if you haven't seen them before, how do you believe in them? How do you believe in something you have never seen?
Well, that's like saying you have to see it to believe it.
I mean, when it comes to aliens, I kind of do.
But do you feel like if your subconscious mind and your conscious mind is only running 5%,
Well, yeah, there's that. I mean,
right?
there is the possibility.
And in the energetics of our frequency in the eyeballs and what we see, if we're not able to perceive higher level frequencies, how are you going to see it?
Right.
Right.
So
So
are you
if
saying you've
they're
seen it?
energetic, I have tapped into them, I've channeled them. So when you, as an energy body, your energy is a channel. So when you can slow the brain waves down and you can actually transcend your mind, get out of the mind and open up your heart to become a channel, you raise your frequency. Aliens can't lower their frequency. We can only raise our frequency to actually like meet them,
Okay.
and they welcome it, they want it, and by all means it's your intention behind it. So you have to know that your heart has to be open and you have to have a good intention, because you can tap into other dark stuff too.
Hmm.
And you have to be very aware of what you're doing, your intention, the energy you carry. And that's why I'm so adamant about making sure I'm from integrity and making sure I'm filtering out things in my day to day that are of lower vibration. And it's not a hierarchy thing, it's literally safety
Hmm.
for myself, and so that I can actually carry out energetics and guidance for others to help them reach these levels of awareness also.
Okay. And who would you say is your ideal client for Chakra Kingdom and all the different things you're doing, and especially the 90-day Transform series?
Yeah, for a 90-day transform series, honestly, anyone can come in and it really does shift people. But women ages 30 to 55, I've found are very drawn to the program, going through transformation, pivots, are in a season of being stuck, are just looking for framework, nervous system regulation, stress free, kind of regulated decision making. And I've watched so many women just step into their power and just start to just manifest amazing things in their life, whether it's like relationship stuff or their businesses start booming, or they're just how they're showing up is different. And that just makes me excited and happy. But I've worked with a lot of men too, and it's actually been really cool to see how these men take to the program, because a lot of men have been taught to not be in their heart, to wear a mask, to be stoic. And when they actually kind of do open their heart and allow themselves to step forward in their truth, a lot of things shift for them too. I just had a former client text me, and he's in Brazil after we did the program. He was like, I want to go to Brazil and I want my Mexican passport. And he's like, guess what? I'm in Brazil. I got my Mexican
Oh, I
passport and all
love it.
this stuff. And I was like,
Oh.
that's so cool. So, yeah.
And then you also worked with some sports teams too, like the
Yeah.
whole team.
Yeah, it's pretty wild because the framework allows us to work with sports teams, sales teams, corporate. So I've done a lot of volleyball teams, baseball teams, and one of the volleyball teams was they were in a championships, and we worked together 3 times. And then the team members was like, "Yeah, we didn't actually lose a game since working with Chakra Kingdom. Go Chakra Kingdom!"
That's
It was
cute.
really
That's
cute.
so cute, but it's true. It's
Yeah,
great.
yeah, thank you.
Well, I this was
This
fun.
was
This
so
is a lot of
fun.
fun.
I
We'll have to
love
do it again
you.
because I have a million more
I
questions.
love it. Thank you so much.
No, thank
I love
you.
you.
I
Thank
love
you
you
guys
too.
for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.